play Bogan third. That means there were 2 more before you, huh?
Yes, exactly.
Or was it 3 more before you?
No, it's 2.
It's 2 more before you.
2 before me, 1 after.
1 after you. Great. So glad you can spend some time with us this afternoon.
It's great being here.
Good. You know what? Music is a universal language, and somehow or another you have encaptured that into your life. Okay? Not only have you encaptured that, you also have the ability to bless others in what you do. And I don't know when you started. When did you start playing?
Well, you know, I think most musicians, they started before they hit the keyboard. So, so at the moment I hit the keyboard, it was I was like 9 or 10 years old.
Okay.
You know, my parents saw me always pursuing the interest of being at the keyboard. My dad had I don't have a very musical family, but my dad had one of those quartet groups that I would always admire every weekend, you know, going to see them play. And then after they got finished, or even after church, I would go right to the piano and try to emulate whatever I heard during that day or whatever was in my mind. So my parents, you know, they bought me this little organ. I took these lessons with this older lady, and it was more or less, you know, I played stuff like Old Susanna and Danny Boy, you know, which everybody knows.
Those tunes are very familiar.
So I would play that kind of stuff, but I would play that stuff. Of course, you know, we had to read music, so I would play that stuff, and I'm always listening to the radio or I'm listening to an album. You know, at the time when I was growing up, the Hawkins were big, Andre Crouch, the Whining, so I will always incorporate that music in whatever I do. So I started developing a really good ear because it, you know, that's what I had at the time before I started to get lessons was my ear. So I at that point I started picking up the songs from the radio and all that stuff, and then I go back to my lessons and I would learn the songs, and I would learn the songs and not turning pages. So I was playing everything by ear. And after about a year, or maybe less than a year, the woman told my mom that, she said, "Mrs. Bogan, I'm sorry. I've been trying to work with your son." And now, this is actually before I really started learning the music here. But you know, I wasn't really practicing at home. I was practicing what I heard. So the lady said, "Mrs. Bogan, I'm sorry, but your son has no talent. He will never play. He will never learn how to play. He just doesn't have instinct. He doesn't have." And so my mom, you know, the Lord told my mom prior to that I was going to play, that I was going to be used, and I'm going to affect the world. And so she never let up. She said, no, you're going to teach him how to play.
I'm glad it didn't scar you for life.
No.
I think Michael Jordan was cut from the basketball team, high school basketball team.
Yeah.
You know, Einstein didn't have a clue. You know, they told Walt Disney he'd never make it. You know, and it's evident that those people have made some great strides in life. And I'm glad you were able to keep going.
Yeah, I never gave, and I didn't really know that story, you know, until later. You know, my mom told me that the lady, you know, wanted to give up on me. So I took that, and from there I developed. You know, I really developed, and I remember I must have been about 13 years old when I told my parents I didn't want to take lessons anymore from that lady. And my parents were like, you know, sometimes the people around you, they don't know what to say, what their response was, but they were like, you know, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I want to be a studio musician. I want to play all over the world. And they said, you'll never make it unless you take lessons. So I think that moment I used as fuel to really learn. So I used to listen to any and everybody. And we're in the area in South Jersey where I grew up, there really wasn't a lot of people that I can say, hey, I want to learn from you, but pretty much anybody.
In South Jersey,
yeah. So it used to be, again, the first time I ever played in church, this is a hilarious story. The pastor, you know, heard I was taking lessons, so he had me come up and play. So I think I played, Yes, Jesus Loves Me or something like that on the organ. And when I tell you, my choir section was on the floor, literally, because they laughed so hard at me. And he's another guy that encouraged me. Pastor Trapp encouraged me to keep going, keep trying. And so that's exactly what I did.
Okay. All right, now it's been some time from the time you first played Yes, Jesus Loved Me. Mm-hmm. I want you to play Yes, Jesus Loved Me too.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
was a simple arrangement. But I remember, you know, that being. I remember saying, "Oh man," because I was so nervous at the moment. And
I'm sure you didn't play it in D flat either.
No. It probably was C or G or something like that. Okay. Yeah, but I appreciate those moments now.
Yeah.
I appreciate those moments.
Now, you've done some things in life. You made some strides, but as a child, you said you wanted to play all over the world.
Yeah, I always admired. I guess as a child, now you're exposed to everybody and everything.
But it's your dream come true, though.
Right, exactly. I was able to live out my dream then.
Okay. Now, how did you get the opportunity to play with a group like Israel and
Well, Israel came to my church, and like a lot of artists I've played for, the church I go to is Abundant Life Family Worship Church in New Brunswick, Bishop George C. Wright. And so we get a lot of artists that come in and want to come and minister. So Aaron Lindsay, who's Israel's musical director, and Israel, they all came. They actually, the first time they came, I ended up playing for them.
Their musician was not there?
Well, the situation was, we bring them in. This is when the new season album first came out, and they really didn't have the full band situation traveling with them. So I think only Aaron and the drummer came, and I had to fill the gaps. So I had to play the organ. My bass player had to play bass, and I think we were the only two actually that played. And then from that, we just created a bond from that, and we just built. And so they admired how I complimented them on the organ. And so they came back again to our church. I think 6 months later, Israel called me and said, "We're going to be in town. Can we come by?" They came in again. And I'm not sure if I sat in with them at this point. But we just still created a great friendship. And then their keyboard player couldn't make a few dates. So they called me to see if I can fill in. And
conveniently, you couldn't make a few dates.
So for the last 3 years, I've been filling in. On and off.
Filling in for the last?
Yeah.
Are you their main organist, or just
no?
Depends on what part of the country he's in.
That and depends if they have two guys that travel on keyboards with them.
Okay.
That's Aaron and the other guy, Jerry Harris. And so when one of them can't make it, then they'll call me to see if I can fill in for them.
Oh, okay.
And if they want to add an organ to their set, then they call me. That's basically how it's been. Or whenever they come to Philadelphia, Clay, we're here. Okay. When they come to Jersey, Clay, we're here. Okay. That kind of thing. Sometimes they may call me. I've been out of town when they wanted to add a organ player to their set, or if they're doing a recording of some sort, then they'll add me to it as well.